Hello and welcome to another one of our videos, and today is the first of a series of videos that I plan to release over the next week or two about agility. And this being the first of many, it makes sense to start with the very basic fundamentals that you require. So these are, I know you could call very simple tests to determine if you're ready to be subjected to the various different skill sets and complicated drills and exercises that we use in agility training. So I will do a longer video explaining who these exercises are relevant for, but you could pretty much safely say I would use these with anyone aged between, say, maybe 8 and 9 all the way up to 75. All right, now people might think that's a bit extreme, but the people of both the extreme ages probably need it the most. So the really young and the really old are probably the most vulnerable and needing these exercises, ironically. So, but let's get into these first few ones. So this very first exercise is really just assessing a person's ability to find the athletic ready position. So we would call this a readiness test. So as you watch me again, all I want to see is I drop back. There's sort of a few things I'm looking for here. So I want a very neutral spine. So you can, I don't want to have any sort of hint of the, so there's my natural curve. I want to be able to make sure that I can maintain that. I want to keep my hips sort of dropping back and low, but not too low. I don't want to be dropping into a squat. I just want them to be ready to move. That's why we call it a readiness position. My head's up and I'm ready to sort of look at what's coming ahead. If I'm on the sporting field, for example, or a basketball court, my chest is up, so I'm not sort of sunken over. So I'm not into this sort of position where the person's almost a deadlift position. I don't want to be in a deadlift. It's not really a squat either. It's sort of a half squat, I suppose you could say. I've got my core sort of set and ready, so I'm not bracing as such, but I'm definitely aware of something is about to happen, something explosive, something ready, or maybe I'm about to absorb a collision, for example. But I know that there's something that's about to happen and I've got to be ready for it. All right, so that's the very first one, so the athletic ready position. The next one is where I might use, I'm going to go to like a single leg stance. All right, so this single leg stance is where we start to see a lot of problems, and this is quite a, obviously before this you'd want to be quite good at just doing the basic single leg deadlifts, single leg squats, all those sort of things. But this one here is where we're moving into, we're assuming that you've done that, all right, so we've already tested it. Now we want to see how you go in absorbing a landing, and we want to see if you can maintain that perfect alignment between foot, knee and hip. And you can see here my breathing, like I have my face, I've got like that breath hold on the land so that I'm preventing my core from falling out sideways. All right, because it's very important that I land exactly like that. That's a really good position for landing. So just jumping up and down is quite simple. It's the when we introduce lateral movement that we see a lot more problems. But this obviously is a readiness test just to determine what's your ability on left and right leg in absorbing landing. And you can see I sort of lost it on that one a little bit. From side on, it will give you an idea of my hip position on this and how it's very similar to the two leg stance. So I jump up and then I drop back. All right, so you can see here I'm still keeping that natural curve. From front on we could observe the alignment. On this one we can't, but we can really see if I still had everything that I had before. So eyes are forward, chest is up, neutral spine, core is set, and everything's sort of working exactly as it's meant to. All right, so they're sort of very simple tests. If the person doesn't quite get these, then obviously you don't move forward. You just sort of stay and continue to work on these skill sets until they get better at it. Now this next one, I'm using a balance board here, but obviously a lot of people don't have a balance board, but this isn't an essential one. But what I wanted to show you on this is how I can go from a stable sort of setting. So I'm going to go, I'm just getting this first one to get used to it, but I want to go on a really quick drop. So I'm going straight away down into my athletic ready position really quickly and then just setting it and trying to see if my core's going to, so there you go, there's a quick drop. And see how my legs move but my core doesn't, or my upper body torso doesn't roll with my legs. My legs absorb the landing and they're moving on their own, but I'm keeping really still. This is quite a clever way to see how well you're going to be ready to do that when things are moving quite quickly. All right, so if you have access to a balance board, it can be quite handy. If you don't have one, I wouldn't say it's essential. I wouldn't worry too much about it. All right, so moving forward, now this is when we start to bring in a couple of different skill sets, and this is where I'm going to use a hurdle. All right, so before we do a lot of stuff with one leg, I always like to do stuff with two, just like we did before with the simple readiness test. This is a two-leg jumping over a hurdle, so I want to again see, can I start in that ready position and then jump and land in it. All right, so it's a lot different to just standing still and doing things. Now, it's not really about the jump I'm looking for, it's the landing. So looking at foot position, all right, so we'll see if my foot position's good, so I'm quite a neutral position. And then as you get better, you can sort of have a little bit of a faster jump back and across. So you can see here, I'll reset. So now I'm going to have a bit of a plyometric jump back. So I'll hit the ground and jump back straight away, and bang, there's my ready position. All right, so the things I'm looking for on that, if I just take that back for you, so if I go back to the beginning, so again, starting off in that ready position, and then as I'm getting more adjusted to it, I want to start looking for what's my foot position on the landing. So bang. So a nice foot position, I've got that nice knee tracking is perfectly centered. I don't have any shoulder sway. My chest is upright. From front on, it's hard to see what my hip position that is like, but we've been over that in the first ones. That should be exactly the same each time. All right, so landing preparation, how I use my arms is also very important. So you'll see how I use my arms for the jump. See how they go back and I use it to propel, and then I stiffen them on the landing. I'll use my arms to bank. See, there's a stiffening position there. On the coupling one, this is the coupling one where it's the plyo. It's very, and I'm off the balls of my feet, bang, straight back, and there's my arm position again. All right, so there are the things I'm looking for, and they're preparing me for the harder things to come. All right, so obviously, like I said before, I'll start with two legs before I head to one leg. Now, that's the first time we're sort of moving laterally. So we've done laterally with two legs, and now we move to laterally with one leg. Now this is the simple lateral bound, which most people are quite familiar with. Quite a good exercise in its own right, but it's great as a testing exercise. So we're moving laterally, and we want to see, am I again being able to maintain really, the foot position on this one is probably way more important than anything we've seen so far. This foot plant is crucial. If this foot turns out because there's some sort of hip issue or maybe a weak foot, that's going to be a real problem for you moving forward in cutting exercises, change of direction stuff. So we want to eliminate that very early on by using this lateral bound, which is easy to control because you can see if I lose my position, I think I do on this one here, and I tip over, see how I lost that? I can just put my foot down, all right, and I can reset myself, and then this one I get that's a nice position. You see, like, this is a beautiful position for a cut. You can see and my arm coming across me because the other arm is right behind, and it's going to swing straight through to prepare me for the cut of the changing direction. So the foot plant here is crucial. I've got to have this very parallel. I can't turn that foot out. Everything's exactly where it should be on that. That's a good picture I've got up here, that one. Now you see how I lost that one again with a bit of shoulder sway. So on the left side I'm a little bit weaker than the right. And there's my quick coupling part now, so I go a little bit quicker. So it's like left to right, so I'm down low, up high. All right, and then I can repeat it and do the other side. All right, so that's the lateral bound is an excellent way to test lateral direction. The last part of this would be adding a zigzag. So I'm sort of going to zigzag forward. So now I'm going laterally, but I'm also moving forward. All right, again, the crucial part on this is the foot plant position, the preloading, part with my arms, my athletic arms. I really need to have really good athletic arms, and I need to actually stay quite low. So if I see a lot of coming up high, my hip being forced behind me too much, that's no good. So you'll see on each one of these, when I'm landing low, right there, and then just go slowly forward on this one. Bang. Yep. All right. And you can see if I just go back. Yeah, that nice loading. See my arm coming through, coming across me, and this really loading up. That's the crucial part. That's where you're really looking for that beautiful foot plant, hip behind me, athletic arms. All right. So these are your simple drills that you can use before you really get into the complicated cutting and hurdles and speed ladder work about to come. Just getting a real good grip of hip position, core position, foot plant position, and if you make mistakes with these exercises so far, nothing really disastrous is likely to happen, and you can address them before you cause any serious harm. All right, so I hope you've enjoyed those exercises, and be ready for a stack of other ones to come, where we're going to introduce a lot of the sort of advanced things. So each video sort of get a bit harder. We'll sort of start with the simple ones and get a bit more from there. All right, so I hope you enjoy that, and we'll see you on the next one.